Uh, Jai Jagannath viewers, welcome to our channel. Today we will discuss the Hindu newspaper of 27th of June. So without being late, let's start the video. And before starting the analysis, I would like to tell you that if you found this video is really useful, then please do like and share among your friends, and do in comment section that how much did you like it or what are the improvements needed. So let's start. Center will ensure execution of pact with cookies bidden. So Amit Shah assured maximum support to implement ground rules, says Manipur CM. Officials say withdrawal approved ASPA, AFSPA hindering operations. They are they are restricting the operations. So without I will suggest that being a silent spectator, you must please read along with me, so that you would also involve in this analysis. So Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh on Monday said the Indian Home Minister Amit Shah had promised that the centre would ensure the implementation of the suspension of operations agreement with the Kuki insurgent group in the hill areas. So the Kuki tribal Kuki community lives in the hilly area. The pact requires the insurgent groups to remain in designated camps with weapons under lock and key. That means they are having the they are having the obviously they have the weapons, but after agreement of this after the pact will be successful, then the weapon will be in lock and key. That means it would be in rest position. So the chief minister alleged that the Kuki insurgent groups violated the ground rules of the SOO Pact and instigated violence. So the environcing government says that the Kuki government violated, they did not obey the SOO Pact, and they instigated violence. They created the violence. So the Home Minister said the centre will provide maximum support to implement ground rules applicable to SOO groups, and also asked me to explain to the Valley people to maintain peace. And it is asked to Chief Minister that he would must maintain the peace in the hill area and valley area. So the chief minister told that out of the state's 10 hill districts, violence, so in Manipur there are 10 districts, so 10 hill districts. So violence was reported only in 3 districts, that is Kanko, Kan, Kanpo, Kankopi, then Tengu Nopal and Chora Chandpur. So again I am repeating: Kankopi, Tengu Nopal and Chura Chandpur in the 3 districts of the valley. So, the source said that the removal of the Armed Force Special Power Act AFSPA AFSPA, that means Armed Force Special Power Act from Valley district was emerging as a challenge as multi insurgent groups launched attack from denotified areas. So the ASPA was removed from valley areas, valley districts. So as the removal of ASPA was done, it is an emerging challenge because the multi-insurgent groups launched attack from the denotified areas. That means that areas excluded from the ASPA Act, making it difficult for the security forces to launch operations without taking the help of civil administration. That means the district magistrate and the director general of police and the superintendent of police, they have to give permission so that the security forces could take steps. But If there was ASPA Act, then there the security forces did not require to get the permission from the district administration. So out of the 92 police stations, the ASPA has been removed from 19 police stations in 7 districts, all in the valley. The disturbed area declaration under the ASPA in Manipur, it is except from the Impal municipality area, was in operation since 2004. So the ASPA Act in Manipur there was from 2004, but due to the law and order situation improvisation in April 2022, the ASPA notification was removed from 15 police stations, and from April 1, more police stations were also denotified. As many as 24 Kuki insurgent groups signed a SOO pact with the Ministry of Home Affairs and Manipur government in 2008 to finalize a peace deal after the Kuki Naga clashes in the 1990s, where hundreds were killed. So, you think that the Kuki and the Maiti community and the tribal sectors, this is the today's issue or recent issues, but it has the root far passed away. So it has a very root in the previous years. The militant groups demanded independent land for the cookies. So they demanding that the cookies must have the independent land. The source said that both groups had weapons since May 3. When the eating violence started, over to 4,000 weapons and lakhs of ammunition were given away or looted from police army. So this is for Kuki, Maiti tribe, and this is a very much a big issue because it is also northeastern state. Northeastern state, so strategically it is also important because it has however somehow linked to Bangladesh, Myanmar. So in that way, the northeastern states are very much useful, uh, as we can see from strategic and geographic point of view. So what will happen in future? We'll see in the forthcoming updated the Hindu newspapers. It will be in some headlines in the upcoming newspapers. So there is another issue, NMC, that is National Medical Council withdraws latest MBBS admission rules. So the National Medical, sorry, I told it is council, but it is actually commission. Sorry for that. The National Medical Commission has withdrawn the recently used Graduate Medical Education Regulations 2003, sorry 2023 for MBBS admission. So it is a guideline that is Graduate Medical Education Regulation 2023. It will be applicable to all the undergraduate students of MBBS. So on June 12, the guidelines included the new rules on competency-based medical education (CBME) and recruitment of manpower for research facilities in a medical college, admission of students under disability category, and format for submission of information for admissions. So, a one-page notice from the NFC does not state any reason for the move. Uh, which guidelines should the parents and the students follow? The NMC, All India Medical Association, say that the NMC could not fulfill the task that was compelled to him. So, the latest circular notes it is informed that the circular of event number dated that is on 12th June 2023, thereby issuing guidelines undergraduate medical education regulation 2023 stands withdrawn and cancelled with immediate effect. This issues with the approval of competent authority in undergraduate medical education course. With the withdrawal of the guidelines, aspirants and parents now want clarity on matters including the Commission's earlier order asking medical colleges and universities to complete MBBS admissions before August 30, and its announcement that the national existence. No, no. Sorry. Its announcement that the national exit test will be conducted in December and January every year. So the MBBS students will take admission before August 30. Let's see what happens in future. Then coming to next. S&P retains financial year 2024 as India's growth projection rate at 6%. So rating firm says India will be the fastest growing economy in the Asia Pacific. Retail inflation is likely to soften to 5% this fiscal from 6.7%, and the RBI is expected to cut interest rates early next year. S&P Global Ratings on Monday retained India's GDP growth forecast at 6%, saying that India will be the fastest growing economy among Asia Pacific nations. So you just remember that according to S&P Global Rating, India's GDP growth forecast is 6%. So the GDP growth forecast for the current and the next fiscal has been kept unchanged from the forecast made in the March, partly on account of domestic resilience. We see the fastest growth at about 6% in India, Vietnam and Philippines. So the fastest growth in three countries, that is India, then Vietnam, then Philippines. The Asian emerging market economies remain among the fastest growing ones in our global growth outlook through 2026. S&P said retail inflation is likely to soften to 5%. This fiscal from 6.7%, and the RBI is expected to cut interest rate only early next year because the inflation and rate hike cycle have been peaked. So the RBI want to cut rate only in early 2024 because it want to see the consumer inflation moving to 4%. So S&P has lowered the growth forecast for China to 5.2% from 5.5% from 2020. Then another issue, Prigozhin issues defiant statement as uncertainty swells after mutiny. The Wagner chief denied trying to attack the Russian state and said he acted in response to an attack on his force that killed some 30 of his fighters. Defense Minister Shoigu was seen in a helicopter and then meeting with officers. So the leader of the Wagner mercenary group defended his short-lived insurrections in an audio statement on Monday, and Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu made his first public appearance in the uprising that demanded his ouster. In a video aimed at projecting a sense of order after the country's most serious political crisis in decades. But uncertainty still swirled about his fate, as well as that of rebellion leader Yevgeny Prigozhin and his private army, the impact on the war in Ukraine, and even the political future of President Vladimir Putin. So, what is the fate of Yevgeny Prigozhin? In an 11-minute audio statement, Mr. Prigozhin denied trying to attack the Russian state. He denied that he did not attack Russia and said they acted in response to an attack on his force that killed some 30 of his fighters because his 30 fighters were killed. We started our march because of an injustice. So Mr. Prigozhin said in a recording. A feud, that means a bitter quarrel between two parties. a feud between the Wagner group leader and Russia's military brass that has festered throughout the war erupted into a mutiny that saw the Mercenaries leave Ukraine to siege a military headquarters in southern Russian city. So there is a conflict, there is a quarrel between the Wagner group and the Russia's military. So the Kremlin said it had made a deal for Mr. Prigozhin to move to Belarus and receive amnesty along with his soldiers. Here, the Mr. Shogu was shown in a helicopter and then meeting with officers at a military headquarters in Ukraine in video broadcast on Russian media, including state-controlled television. It was unclear when it was shot. So, Mr. Putin held calls on Monday with the leader of Iran and Qatar, and the Kremlin said and addressed a forum of youth engineers in a pre-recorded video message that contained no mention of the mutiny. So the Wagner mutiny shows Russia's invasion of Ukraine was a strategic mistake. It was the statement given by the NATO chief. So the NATO head Jens Stoltenberg on Monday said the by weekend mutiny by mercenary troops in Russia so that the Russian President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine is a mistake. So the Putin made with the illegal annexion of Crimea and the war against Ukraine was started. Uh, then he spoke a while on a visit to Lithuania, which will host next month's NATO summit, a couple of days after the Wagner mercenary groups aborted revolt against the Kremlin. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius said the mutiny showed that Russia is an unstable and unpredictable state. Meanwhile, EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell told a meeting of the bloc's foreign ministers in Luxembourg that the Wagner's aborted mutiny shows Moscow's war in Ukraine is splintering Russia's power. So splintering it is the act of a breaking. So the Russia's power is breaking, it is becoming less or less. So Mr. Borrell warned that certainly it's not a good thing to see that a nuclear power like Russia can go into a phase of instability. It's also something that has to be taken into account. The most important conclusion is that the war against Ukraine launched by Putin and the monster that Putin created with Wagner, the monster is beating him. So this is about the what is the inner conflict in Russia, what is the Wagner mutiny. Then National Human Rights Commission sends notice to Maharashtra over torture of 11 workers. So the National Human Rights Commission is issued a notice to state government and sought a detailed report in the matter from the Chief Secretary and Director General of Police within 4 weeks. So the NHRC observed that the provision of the Bonded Labour System on Abolition Act in 1976 has been grossly violated by the contractor. The incident clearly indicated the failure of the local administration to safeguard the labourers from such brutality committed upon them by the contractors. So the workers had been kept chained and forced to work 12 hours a day without any wages, digging a well for the accused. They were given short food for the entire day, and this issue could come to out because one of the victim could be escaped in somehow, and then he informed to police. After that, police operated his rescue operation and found 11 laborers were in inhuman conditions. So the commission maintained that it was necessary for the administration to start proceedings in the case as per labor laws to ensure that the laborers were probably released and relieved, and the rehabilitation laid down under the Bonded Labor System Abolition Act 1976 were provided to them without delay. It is also required on the part of the district magistrate Osmanabad to ensure strict compliance of the labor laws for the safety and security of the laborers working under contractors in the state. It was said by the National Commission for Human Rights. Then it is also discussed. It is discussed. It is also discussed. Then there are two editorials, just to a grand revival. So India and Egypt have re-established close ties in recent years. So the decision by India and Egypt to upgrade their ties to a strategic partnership during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's meeting with Egypt President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi is a significant move for India's ties with the West Asia, North Africa region. So West Asia and North Africa, all these regions are being strengthened. So the two countries signed a friendship treaty in 1955. Then India's support to Egypt, including during the Suez Canal crisis in 1956. Then the non-aligned movement in 1961, with both as founder members. They were also instrumental in the G77 grouping and South-South Cooperation Initiative. And during the Cold War, India and Egypt were united over this desire not to become followers of either US or the Soviet Union. More recently, entire position on the Ukraine war have been extremely similar, refusing to criticize Russia's action but not condoning them either, and calling for a diplomatic resolution. Last year, India's decision to supply wheat to Egypt, one of the biggest export from Russia and Ukraine last year. So before the Black Sea Grain Initiative stepped in, on New Delhi March goodwill in Cairo. The two sides are also pursuing closer cooperation in energy, pharmaceutical, uh, pharmaceutical and defense, and with MOUs in agriculture, laws. Mr. Modi visit to Al Hakim Mosque. It is remember to which mosque in PM moved. It is Al Hakim Mosque, and meeting with Egypt's Grand Mufti appeared to be an attempt to dispel misgiving about his government policy towards the Muslim world. So the President LCC, who was India's Republic Day chief guest this year, conferred India's highest state honor, the Order of the Nile, on Mr. Modi. It is given to world leaders and those who either offer Egypt or uh, who offer Egypt or humanity invariable service. The two leaders will again meet in Egypt in special initiative to G20 summit in New Delhi. The leader appeared to have spent much time focusing on multilateralism. India's close ties in Egypt's neighborhood, especially Israel and Saudi Arabia, food and energy security constraint, and building more cooperation with the global south, including the new development bank. The NDB new development bank was established by BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and is keen to join the grouping that will deliberate new membership at his summit in Cape Town this August, where Egypt will seek India's support. Bolstered by historical ties and buffeted by present-day geographical turmoil, it is clear that India and Egypt are now essaying a closer relationship on what looks both at a future economics and autonomous foreign policy. Then the last it is, yes, there is also a question. Cave shelters, a pottery of Buddhist monastery on Red Sand in Andhra Pradesh. So Buddhist remnants of Buddhist monastery established during the Satavahana period have been discovered on the Rudragiri of Orvakalu village in Achampet Mandal of Guntur district in Andhra Pradesh. The findings were pottery and rock shelters. So the Dakshan Kattakam or the Daranji Kota was the capital of Andhra Satyavahana dynasty, founded by uh, Badri Badireddy Venkatari Nayadu. So the former superintending archaeologist Dr. Karna Babu of the Temple Service Project, that is the southern region in Archaeological Survey of India, Chennai, stumbled upon some pottery and the cave shelter at the Rudragiri. He told the Hindu on Monday that the survey had helped expose and identify the common top of the Rudragiri. So the badly round, back-filled structural remains of an ancient Buddhist Vinaya Pitaka were found during back to the last century CE and first century AD. The monastery flourished during the Satavahana period. Then the carved Padmashila, it will be taught you in the next session. So again I am repeating, अगर आपको वीडियो अच्छा लग रहा है तो आपको कमेंट सेक्शन में बताना है कि क्या आपको अच्छा लगा और कौन कौन सी इम्प्रूवमेंट हो सकता है. So another issue, it is the laying the foundations for a future ready digital India. It is also important. Just do not ignore it and read that newspaper fully. So if you find this video really useful, then please do subscribe. Thank you for watching.